I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be, I'm tossing and turning and my mind is racing. Well, that's usually not a good sign if a guy is in that state. That tells me he's in a fearful state, and what you fear, you attract. When you make decisions and you take action from a fearful state, usually the result is not good. So I've got a quick quote that I want to share with you on this topic. When your only tool is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. So I've got a video email here from a viewer, and he says, "Hey Corey, I was dating this girl for about a month and a half, and she recently went away to a training thing for 2 weeks. She's in the military, which was about 3 hours away. During the weekend of the first week, she was to come back and see me. We got into a little tiff, and I apologized, and she said okay, so I figured we squashed it." Well, obviously, you probably figured wrong since you're writing to me. But I make a big point about this in my book, is that guys that argue with women, they don't understand them. And when you argue with a woman, the more you do it, the quicker the demise of your relationship is coming. Because the whole purpose of all relationships is you go there to give. You're there to help each other grow and become more. You're there to meet each other's needs, and you do that through communication. And the only time an argument comes up between a man and a woman is when a woman is communicating about something, and typically the guy tries to solve the problem. And then all that does is, because there's certain times in a relationship where the woman wants you to listen to her and bond with her and connect with her, and there's other times in the relationship where she really does want your advice. And if she wants you to listen, then you start giving her advice when she's just sharing a story, all you need to do is listen, she'll get pissed off more and more as the more you try to solve her problem, the more irritated she's going to get, and the more she's going to tell you that you're not listening. And the guy's going to think, "What do you mean I'm not listening?" He's like, "Of course I'm listening. I'm giving he's giving her the solution, and she's upset because he's not listening and taking in and acknowledging to her what she's saying, because women, the guy doesn't understand that women actually work through their problems by talking about them, whereas us guys, we tend to go hang out in the bat cave or the man cave and chill out and think about things and contemplate things. And then once we come up with a solution, we come out of the man cave and we go on with our life. But women tend to bond and relate and connect by talking about things, and they come up with their own solutions just by talking about them. So he says, "But she said she wasn't coming back that weekend, and I offered to come up." So in other words, she was going to come visit you. You got into an argument, and now she's like, "Oh, well, I guess I'm just going to stay up here." Well, that's not a good sign. And what that tells me is she doesn't feel comfortable with you, and her level of attraction has dropped, obviously because of the argument, because whatever it was you were arguing about, obviously you communicated to her that you really don't understand how attraction works. And more than likely, maybe it wasn't, you thought it was resolved and it wasn't resolved because she's figuring, "Oh, I don't want to come, and I got my only weekend, and I'm going to have to be dealing with this drama thing with this guy that I'm seeing." And so she just chooses to do something else. At the end of the day, it takes two. This is a key point where guys got to understand, is like where a woman doesn't make the level of effort, then the guy starts to make more of an effort. In other words, if the other person is not contributing the same level of effort in your relationship, you can't do it for them. You can't push the wet noodle. You can't over pursue and over chase them into wanting and pursuing and chasing you as much as you want them. The idea is you got to love the other person in such a way that the person that you love feels free. And anytime you start to over pursue, they start to feel like they're going to lose their freedom, and men and women both are going to back off in those cases. He said so after he offered to come up, she said no, she's in training with like 13 other guys, so that tells me obviously he's jealous about these other dudes, and now he's thinking, "Oh, wait a minute, now she doesn't want to see me because something's going on with these other guys." It tells me this dude's in a fearful state. He says she needed time alone to herself, but yet she went kayaking and all these other activities. Yeah, it just means she didn't want to spend time with you because you turned her off by arguing with her. He says, during the course of this time, this is Friday of the second week today, I have only had minimal contact with her, because their phone somehow broke a week ago, so she can't get messages. How can a phone break and you can't get messages? It's like you always have a voicemail. Unless it's some kind of prepaid phone. I don't know. I haven't heard that before. He says, I called her last Saturday when it wasn't broke to dump her because I felt she's been stringing me along, and she was like, well, why are you doing that? I thought we were just going to talk when I got back. I said, okay, fine. So now, in other words, you're fearful that things aren't going to work out, so you're like doing a preemptive breakup. In other words, you want things to work out with this girl, but things are going sideways. You don't really know how to fix it, so you're like, all right, that's it. I'm breaking up with you because I don't like how you're treating me. In other words, the reason you're doing it is she's not pursuing you and wanting you as much, and then so you're just deciding, hey, I'm out of here. And usually guys do that because they're thinking, oh, if I break up with her, it'll make her want me back more. And then when the girl doesn't want it back because they don't really know what they're doing, they're like, oh my God, I'm sorry, please take me back. I didn't mean it. So he says she's being deployed in June for 6 months. He says, I just got divorced last year and I got laid off a few months back. So I've been focusing on grad school and had to move back home with my folks. I just finished grad school this week, and she said that was some of her concern. Well, you finish grad school and then you don't go out and get a job, you're living with your parents. Masculine energy is about purpose, drive, mission, succeeding, accomplishing things in life. And when a woman sees that, she's naturally going to think, how is this guy? Because that's provider type of energy. Well, provider type energy, obviously, is all about the guy handling what he's supposed to handle in life with his career, his purpose, his mission. And so when a guy doesn't do these things, he's not acting in accordance with his natural masculine essence. And obviously it causes any woman to doubt or trust his masculine core. Because think about this. At some point, say you decide you get together with this girl, you settle down, you have a family, you start having kids, but you're real unstable when it comes to your career. Obviously that's going to create problems in your relationship. So he says, usually she always was excited to talk to me, and we would spend 4 to 5 days a week together, and that was over the past 2 weekends, and that dwindled to a grinding halt. And I told her, I don't know what's up with you, but everything has changed. I said, you don't even sound the same. And I'm left, of course, feeling rejected and pushed away. I said, I will see you on Friday, and she says, I don't know. So that conversation ended with, okay, well, I guess I'll see you when I see you. No, I miss you, or nothing like normal. So do I dump her? How long should I wait? Well, when you ask a woman out and she gives you that kind of wishy-washy response, I wouldn't do anything. I would just walk away. But you got to understand, dude, is that you're the one that's driven her to that point by arguing with her and interacting with her in a way that doesn't create attraction. He says, do you think she's fucking someone else? Well, if you keep acting the way you're acting, you absolutely will drive her into the arms of another guy because she doesn't want to deal with all this BS drama because you're acting like a woman, basically. He says she's been up and down and hot and cold, and shit obviously isn't adding up. She seems like she's either banging someone else or someone is filling her head with bullshit, or she's just been trying to justify herself why this won't work because I'm not where I should be in my life this second. Well, you're all wrapped up and caught up in what she's doing or what she may or may not do in the future instead of focusing on taking care of your own business. But the thing you understand is that every time she interacts with you, you're giving her grief and you're giving her a hard time. You're like, what's wrong? You're different. And so think about this. Every time she talks to you, how are you making her feel emotionally? Are you making her feel good about having you in her life? Or are you making her feel like, God damn, I don't even want to talk to this guy? Something to think about. He says, I mean, taking 4 grad classes requires concentration. I'm trying to finish strong. I can focus on a full-time job search until I get this shit out of the way, which I just finished now. And she's 25, I'm 38, so maybe she's too immature and doesn't know what the fuck she wants. Well, I'd say it's a whole indicative of how you're showing up and how you're treating her, and that's why she's treating you the way that she's treating you. So if I were you, I would immerse yourself in my book. You can go to my website underneath the email sign-up box. There's a box that has a link. That'll take you right to the Amazon Kindle download page. Once you get there, if you don't have a Kindle device, just download one of their free e-reader apps for whatever electronic device you want to read my book on. And if you'd like to get my help right away with this particular situation, obviously there's more going on here, but if you'd like to get a further in-depth analysis of it so I can help you take exactly the kind of action you need, or if you're in a similar situation yourself to like this particular guy, go to my website, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book a paid phone coaching session. And I will talk to you soon.